Welcome back to Edius Editing for News, and today I thought we'd look at doing a little bit more mixing, and this time we're going to look at implementing fast fades. Now the audio doesn't pass through to my screen grabber, but you should be able to see from the waveforms what we're trying to achieve here. On the timeline I've got this interview, followed by some overlay or B-roll, and then some voiceover. In here there should be an upshot or up sound on tape to increase the natural audio level from the B-roll. Let's play that through.
Australia. Look after your Australian consumers.
Farron Ostili bulk buys from Livingston International for retail pharmacies across Victoria and Tasmania.
What I'd like to do is fade up this audio. Now we can do that by adding keyframes on the auto gain, like this, and pushing up the level with the shift key, and then dragging down this level at the front. Instead of doing all that, let's find a way to make the fades very quickly. You could select the clip, come up to a fade menu, and select audio clip only. In this instance, it's mapped to the letter Q. And if you do that, the fade runs from the beginning of the clip up to the playhead. And if you did it from the back, it would begin at the playhead and run down to the end of the clip. And you would use the shortcut for that, which is mapped to W in this case. Press W. Now these may not be mapped for you, and you would have to map them separately. You would do that by going to User Settings, User Interface, Keyboard Shortcut, and we're going to type in fade. And you have a number of types of fade. Fade in does all video and audio, but you can choose to have fade in audio or fade in video. In this case, I've selected fade in audio clip and assigned it to Q. And you do that by pressing the fade in type that you want and assign. Then you find a location on the keyboard to choose, and here it is set at Q. You can close that dialog box and hit OK, or you can choose to set the audio fade out. So you would select audio fade out, press assign, then the key that you want to use, close, and apply. And I'll hit OK. Now I've also applied the buttons to the timeline. So you would do that by going to User Settings, Button, Timeline, Category All, remove that, type in fade, and it does not appear in the list. That's because I've already applied them on this side, which makes them appear at the top of the timeline. So there they are, fade in, fade out. And those buttons have options. That's why there's a little drop-down menu. You can do them as audio clip only. The video clip doesn't appear because there's nowhere to fade from here. If I moved in a little bit further and pressed that button again, the video clip becomes available. But I don't want that, and those buttons cannot be assigned as only video fade or only audio fade, so you have to apply them to a keyboard shortcut. Now I'll drag this clip, music clip over and do the same thing. We'll select that clip, we'll press the Q on the keyboard or from the drop-down menu. So now we're fading up over him. And this music I want to have fade up as well. So I've trimmed the head of the music back, so it will fade up from here through his interview to peak when the natural sound begins. So I'm going to select the clip, park where I want it to be loudest, and press Q, or come up here and press audio clip only. And when I play it back, you'll notice something.
Powerful brand in Australia. Look after your Australian consumers.
Yes, it's far too loud. So I can select the clip, press the normalize button, check the other video for this tip, and I'm going to press -20 dB so that the waveform peaks at -20. Click OK, and you'll notice that the waveform has gotten smaller vertically, and it should be a bit quieter.
Powerful brand in Australia. Look after your Australian consumers.
Farron Ostili.
You'll notice over here on the mixer that the music is now only peaking at around -20. The audio fade effect is also useful for deleting lots of little keyframes that you don't need. You would simply park to the right of the keyframes you want to eliminate and press Q in this case, or fade effect, select Q from the menu, and it will delete all of those useless keyframes. You can just put one back as required. That's the fade effect that I use all of the time in editing short-form documentary or current affairs on Edius. Thanks very much for watching and happy Ediusing.